Thank you for joining. Today I wanted to go over Bitcoin USDT. USD.P on the Bybit chart. I have it drawn out here for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. And one thing to pay attention to is right now we are rejecting off the weekly fair value gap, right? So if I was to hide this really quick, you'll see there's a fair value gap here. We came up, tested the 50% off that fair value gap, and we rejected, right? Pretty clear rejection, bearish engulfing candle, and since then we have just been selling off over the past week and a half, right? So with that being said, where would the next target be for Bitcoin? So we had a previous range value area high right around here, which would be my first target, around 70,000. Looks like it's going to get there this week. This looks like there's going to be a very big bearish candle getting ready to print either today or tomorrow. There's only about one more hour in the day for today, which is the 27th. But more than likely tomorrow is probably going to be a very bearish day in my opinion. If we go ahead and zoom in, we can see here with Bitcoin, we tested the fair value gap, the weekly fair value gap. Since then, failed to recover, just been making lower highs and lower lows. Had a massive sell-off, broke this structure right here, right? Which is also resistance, flipped it, support, flipped it into resistance, and now we're selling off with the next possible target just being this order block sitting at around 72,000, right? But in my opinion, we'll probably end up going for the liquidity right below it, which is around 70,000. And this is kind of like the last line of defense, the $70,000 area. When you have these big red candles like this for Bitcoin, zoom in here a little bit. When you have these big red candles, there's a very good chance, tomorrow will open up. You get a little bit of a push up before coming back down, right? All you can do is trade the range, and right now we are still trading at the top of the range. Arguably you can say that, for instance, right here, right, is support. So maybe you get a bounce here, kind of like what happened here on the 23rd. This is an area where you can for sure get a bounce. If that fails, then yes, the next area I would be looking at again is around the 70,000 area, right? You just have to trade level to level. It's looking very bearish. Only thing is, it is at support, so a bounce could come in again, but I think this is going to be the move to break this support. And usually when you break these supports or resistance, you get very high volume coming in to eliminate any orders that are below it. And that's how you get candles pretty much like this, right? So this low was made, and in order to break this low, we had a very bearish engulfing candle, right? Same thing here, a low was formed for a few days, bearish candle, very big bearish candle followed, right? It's just something that to keep your eye on when looking at these charts. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and dive into the 4-hour time frame. So when looking at the 4-hour time frame, pretty much the same exact thing, right? Trade level to level, you can see, right, a very clear range here on Bitcoin, right? Support, support, resistance, broke through it, flipped it into support. If you want to be even more precise, go ahead and grab a horizontal ray tool. Let's put it on key. And you'll see magnetic, snap it to that high. Resistance, support, 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 flipped, went to resistance, tested it twice, could not stay above, right? We don't even need this box because in reality you can see just from the the bottom of this fair value gap, which led into resistance, flipped this to support, lost it, right? And I'll just put the box back really quick. So lost that level. Just to make this more precise here. Back tested the level and continue to sell off. And where does it sell off to? The next key areas of liquidity. This is right there. And also right here, right? So both targets were hit. Next target will be these lows, right? For sure. So this is where I would expect a little bit of a bounce. If we don't get the bounce, high selling volume should come in, break down, and then we target this level here, which is also lining up with the previous range value area high, which is at 72,000 or 70,000, right? Level to level, support incoming, major support 70,000. Realistically, we do need to hold that 70,000 range, because if we were to pull a fib, right, let's just say we go ahead and pull a fib from the lows, to the high, could go over here. Golden pocket, let's do the nav right there. Very key area, this 70,000 range, right? This is 75% pullback, where I can expect a nice reaction to possibly continue higher, right? It's not impossible, but this would be an area I would be looking for a higher low to form on a higher time frame, right? Overall bearish right now when looking at the daily, but when you look at things range bound, things get very clear, right? You just to play things level to level, see how they react. If you are getting that bullish price action, then you go ahead and you join your trade. Right? Look at that. The nav, called the nav pocket, lining up right at that key support. So you definitely have two decent confluence areas to keep an eye on. Where a nice long trade could possibly occur. All right. So keep an eye on Bitcoin. We'll see how everything plays out here in the next few days. But that's pretty much it. Like and subscribe. Thank you for joining. And until next time, take care.